He had just eaten the hamburger, but he didn't notice the red liquid dripping from the fries box. It wasn't until his girlfriend heard the dripping sound that she realized there were more and more bloodstains on the dining table. The two of them looked up in panic, only to discover that at some point, the hen had been hung from the chandelier. She knew a stranger must have gotten into the house. The terrified Daisy finally snapped. At that moment, Nick finally believed what his girlfriend had said. The two of them hurriedly split up to lock the doors and shut the windows. But by then it was already too late. Daisy immediately backed away, but the killer had already locked onto her through a crack. Seeing this, Nick grabbed Daisy and rushed to dodge. The two of them panicked and flustered, charged into a bedroom after pushing a cabinet up against the door. They could only huddle in the corner by the window, and the killer from just now had already broken into the living room. But the terrifying part was the killer wasn't alone. There were actually two masked female assassins. Nick in the room was already extremely anxious. He planned to go to the door to check what was happening, but he didn't expect that the very next second, the sudden appearance of the assassin threw them both into even greater panic. Seeing the small wooden door about to be smashed open, the couple had almost given up resisting. Yet just when the assassin could have broken in completely, the assassin only stared at them through the crack and didn't attack. They couldn't fathom what the assassin was thinking at all, not until the killer had had his fill of their fear. Did he finally turn and walk away? The U narrowly escaped disaster. But Nick understood that this was exactly the twisted thrill the killer was addicted to. To stay alive, they decided they couldn't keep waiting to call for help. They at least had to get to the phone first, but of course the phone was in the living room. With no other choice, the two could only take a risk. Yet just as they finally found the phone in the hall, only to find the screen had already been smashed by the killer. Because the two of them were at a suburban villa at the moment. Their only device for calling for help had also been destroyed. The two had no choice but to quietly open the back door, planning to use the landlord's motorcycle to escape. But suddenly the motorcycle burst into flames in an instant. And that too was the killer's doing. The killer deliberately gave them hope, only to cruelly crush it, terrified. The two could only retreat back into the villa first. At this moment, both of them were on the verge of a breakdown. Fortunately, Daisy spotted a warehouse from the window. They knew they couldn't escape the killer's pursuit for now, but they could go to the warehouse and find some tools to defend themselves. Just as they were thinking about how to get out of the house, Daisy suddenly noticed an air vent nearby. They immediately pried the vent open first. Now they finally had a chance to slip away. The two of them slowly crawled into the duct, but the cramped space made it difficult for them to move forward, and Daisy accidentally pressed her palm straight onto a nail. Searing pain instantly swept through her whole body. Nick quickly moved in to calm Daisy down. And Daisy also knew she couldn't cry out, because there was still a female killer patrolling above. To spare Daisy a bit of suffering, Nick could only pull the nail out quickly, then tore off a corner of his clothes and wrapped it up on the spot. Fortunately, after the two kept crawling for a while, at last they escaped from the villa. The two hurriedly supported each other and hid in the warehouse. But just as they thought they were safe for the moment, behind them, the female assassin had been lying in wait for a long time.